It says we're on the air. Good morning, everybody. Len Mooney here, and it is August 25th, and this is Lunch with Len. Welcome, everybody. And today we have a really special guest with us. We have Heather Cameron, and you know, I tend to say your name backwards sometimes. I got to tell you this. I have a friend whose name is Cameron, and my brain thinks of Cameron as a first name. Hello.
Actually, a lot of people call me Cameron, so I'm used to it. I answer to just about anything, so it's all good.
So I found Heather on the Sunday night work session with Felicia and Terry, and she did this just absolutely marvelous Periscope presentation. And I've asked her to come run through her Periscope presentation with us. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing her because she doesn't have a lot of time. She's on her lunch break. And she actually, it's possible that her phone will ring and she'll have to digress for a little bit. Hello, Larry.
Probably not. So, fingers crossed. Won't have to.
Actually, why don't I just let you get started? I'm going to share your screen, I think, and also you can tell us a little bit about yourself in the process.
Sure. Well, can you see me right now?
I can see you.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself first so you can actually see me before I put it on the presentation. But my name is Heather Cameron, and I met Len through Terry and Felicia, like he was talking about. I've worked with Terry and Felicia for the past couple months now. I'm actually new to the network marketing industry as of January. So yeah, I still am a newbie at this point, and I'm learning a ton. And like Len, I've learned a lot about social media over the past few months, and Periscope is something new that has just come around, and it's something that I've been kind of diving into and exploring. So it's really, really something exciting, and I would love to go ahead and share it with you guys. So if you want to throw in a comment and let me know if you are using Periscope already or not, or if you've even heard of it. So if you want to throw in some comments so I could see where everybody stands when it comes to Periscope, that would be great. So I have a basic idea of beginner, expert.
Well, I consider myself a beginner. I started using it after I saw your last presentation with Terry and Felicia. I know we have a couple people that are using it. Can everybody see and hear Heather, by the way? Is there any issues out there that I should know about? There's a time lag in the chat, by the way. When we ask you a question like that, typically takes about 45 seconds before we see any answers come back.
Okay.
So
yeah, if you want to let me know, because
Larry Ryan says he's doing one right now.
What's that?
Larry Ryan says he's doing one right now. Michael Pierce says he's a beginner. You can see the chat, right?
No, for some reason I can't see that at all.
Going away again?
That's okay. You let me know. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen.
Okay, cool.
So, okay, can you see?
I can see your screen. Can everybody else see your screen? See and hear. Whitman Abel says see and hear. Okay.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So Periscope. So Periscope was purchased by Twitter. It was an app that was existing before, but it really wasn't known at all until Twitter purchased it. So Twitter purchased it, and it launched at the end of March, and it has just exploded in the social media world. So there's about 10 million people using it right now. And so it's only been, what is it now? March, April, May, June, July, August. Now it's 5 months. There were 1 million users in 10 days. And just to give you a little comparison, it took 2 years for Twitter to get to 1 million users, 10 months for Facebook to get to 1 million, and 2.5 months for Instagram to get to 1 million. So 1 million is in 10 days is pretty big. It's a live streaming app, which actually makes it very fun. If any of you do video, you know, when you're doing video, you're just basically talking to your computer and recording yourself. But with live streaming, you're interacting with viewers, which is really cool. And there is a statistic, and I'm sure this has increased since I've found this out, but apparently there's about 40 years worth of content being watched every single day on Periscope. And I bet you anything it's more than that now. It is a global community, and there are people from around the globe using the app. So if you don't have Periscope yet, the best thing to do is open a Twitter account first, then download Periscope. And when you open it on your phone, log in with Twitter. Click this button in order to log in with Twitter. So I was told by someone that you can link Periscope to your cell phone account, but that's not recommended because you won't be able to get followers. And I've never seen or heard anybody doing that myself, but that's just what I've heard. Felicia was at Top Earner Academy a couple weeks ago, and someone there told her that. So I don't know anybody personally that's tried to set it up with their phone, but apparently someone that she met has, and it doesn't work. People can't follow you. And the point of Periscope is you want people to follow you so that they get the notifications that you're getting online and doing a scope. You want them to be there and listening and watching you. And you definitely, when you set up your Periscope, you want to add a picture. Otherwise, you get a little circle with an egg in it, and then you're not branding yourself in that case. So definitely add a nice picture of yourself into your account. So this is what it looks like when you log in, and it looks a little different from iPhone versus Android. So on Android, these buttons are on top and the little magnifying glass is down at the bottom. So they're flip-flopped in Android, but these are all the different symbols that you can find. And once you get in, it just brings you automatically to this people page. And or you click on the little people to get to the people page, and then the magnifying glass in order to find people. And the other symbols, the TV will show you the streams of the people that you are following. So if you are following people and you click on this, you'll get all of the streams that are either live, the live ones show on top, and all the ones that have been in the past 24 hours will show as you scroll down. The globe will show currently running streams from around the globe, and you can get a map view. You could choose the map view, which is totally cool. So this is something that just came with Android. At the time I made this presentation a couple weeks ago, Android didn't have the map view yet, but now it does. And you will have a globe, which is actually, let me switch to stop sharing for a second so I could just show you. Are you seeing? Oh, there we go. So this is the map view. So you can it shows the world, and you can come in. Like I'm in Colorado, so there is not one person streaming in Colorado right now. Let me go over to California. See on the map, there's where am I? California. There's a couple people down here, 3 people that are streaming currently. So if you want, you can look for people who are in your local area, which is totally cool. So let me go back to sharing my screen. I'm still trying to get the hang of this webinars on air. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. And the camera button is what you use to start your broadcast. You would click on that camera button, and I will show you what that looks like. Oh, and yeah, I'll show you your broadcast, starting your own broadcast in just a minute. So if you want to find me, you can type in Heather Cameron or H Cameron Biz Pro, and you click the little plus symbol in order to follow me. That's me right there. So your broadcast, you would click the camera button in order to get a scope started. And So this is what you'll see once you click the camera button. So you definitely want to have a compelling title with emojis that are related. So if you just have a title with none of the little pictures, it doesn't stand out. You know, if people are looking at the list of the people that they're following that are currently live and they don't see pictures and things that draw their attention, they might not, you know, they might just scroll right over your scope. So, you know, insert some little pictures in there that are related to, you know, possibly related to your scope or that just draw attention to your title in order to help bring attention to your Periscope. And you definitely want something interesting as a title, but also something that's related to what you're scoping about. I actually was curious, you know, there was a scope I saw the other day where a woman put in her title that she was looking for an MLM to join, but that wasn't the case. She was actually, what is the word I'm looking for? She was actually talking about her own, but the title that she used, she was being deceiving in her title, is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, it has to be your title has to be related to what you will be talking about, and don't deceive your viewers, because then, you know, they'll come in their scope and they'll be like, well, what is this about? You know, this isn't what the title told me this scope was going to be about. So definitely, you know, have a compelling title, but it has to be related to what you will be talking about. Place hashtags in your scope related to your topic, or you can use signature hashtags or hashtags of groups that you participate in, and I'll go into that a little bit more. And you want to tweet out, you want this highlighted, the little Twitter bird, you want that highlighted. That way when you start your broadcast will be displayed on your Twitter. So that's one reason why you want hashtags in there, because people can go back and even if they don't catch it right away when you first start your broadcast, if they're on Twitter and they're searching certain hashtags, then your announcement of your broadcast will pop up and they can go back and watch the replay. And if you use IFTTT, if this, then that, then when you tweet out your broadcast, when you click the button and you start your broadcast and it tweets, then if you have if this, then that set up to also display on your Facebook, if you tweet something, put it on your Facebook. So, you know, if you go ahead and tweet out your scope, it'll just automatically go to your social media, also other social media outlets. So if this, then that, I'm not, I don't have it all set up for myself, but that's something I have to go back and do, because it's good to get the word out about your broadcasts, because getting the word out will get viewers. Even if they're not there live, they can come back and watch the replay, and they could still give hearts and not make comments, but at least give you hearts and get to know you when they come back and watch the replays. And keep in mind, so this is the back, the camera back, it's facing backwards. So you need to be aware where you're pointing your back camera when you start a broadcast. So a lot of times people are learning now. A lot of folks at the beginning of Periscope, they were pointing it, you know, they're holding their phones and the phones are pointed down. So they're looking at their feet. But then that's the image that gets saved when people come back to the replay. They see, that's the first image that they see. So you want it pointed towards something, like if you were doing a Periscope on Periscope tips, you know, you could pull up just a PowerPoint slide and write Periscope tips on it and face your back camera towards your computer, so that that's what they see here on the back camera. And you have to tap twice after you start your broadcast in order to flip the camera around to look at you, to be pointed towards you. So for your first scope, it's very nerve-wracking. I'm sure this is what I looked like when I started my first scope. But, you know, a lot of folks have fancy equipment. I've seen Chalene Johnson, she has a fancy ring light that she attaches to her computer. And fancy webcams and microphones, but you really don't need all that to get started. You just need your phone, and you can hand hold it yourself. You don't need a stand. I've been doing this for, boy, I've probably done about 30 broadcasts at this point, and I still don't have a stand for my phone. So it's okay. You don't need all sorts of professional equipment to do Periscope, which is kind of nice. And keep in mind, you do have a message that deserves to be heard. So don't be nervous. Don't be fearful. You know, you have a right to be out there and giving folks your value. You can do a private scope. So I always recommend that for people when they're first starting, if they're really nervous. You know, you could do a private scope with just a friend watching you for the first time to practice, and then watch the replay so you could see, you know, places where you can improve. You can also do a dry run in front of the mirror. And I don't write down everything that I'm going to say in a scope, and most times I just go off the cuff. But if you have a lot of topics that you want to discuss, write down just a bullet list, you know, to keep you on track. And definitely be you. And this is a really, really big opportunity right now. Like I said earlier, there's about 10 million people on Periscope, but only 1% of people are actually broadcasting, which means if you are broadcasting, you have a really, really big opportunity to be seen and heard by others that are on Periscope. So things to do. And I have to be honest, I have been terrible lately about being consistent. So Periscope saves your broadcasts for 24 hours. So it is very good to try to broadcast multiple times a week. If you can do a broadcast every 24 hours, that's fantastic. Because when people are looking for you and looking to follow you and looking at your profile, they can see recent broadcasts. And if it's 0, you know, they don't have any prior casts of yours to look at to see if they would be interested in following you. So, you know, if every 24 hours it's getting rid of a scope, you know, and deleting old scopes, it is good to have at least one there every 24 hours, put a new scope there so that people who are potentially interested in following you can see what you scope about. So definitely pre-promote your scope in social media. So it's really good about half an hour ahead of time. I'm going to be, you know, put it on your Twitter, put it on your Facebook. I'm going to be scoping about this topic at such and such a time. Or actually, it's really good to say in a half an hour, you know, because everybody might be on different time zones and then they might not catch you. So pre-promote is good. As I mentioned, point your back camera towards something related to the scope if possible. And when you flip your camera around, so it takes a couple minutes for people to start coming into your scope. You know, your followers will get notification when you pop on, and that notification, as long as you click the little Twitter icon, notification will go out on your Twitter. But it takes a couple minutes for people to come into the scope. So before people come in, it's nice to say hello to the people that are there viewing the replay. Excuse me, because the people coming in for the replay, it starts from the very beginning. So you don't want to sit and wait for people to show up in the live broadcast. You want to start at least talking so that the replay viewers have something to listen to. You know, they're not just looking at you, staring at the scope, waiting for, you know, numbers to climb, you know. So you can say, hi, welcome replay viewers. Thank you so much for watching the replay. I'll be talking about such and such. And by that time, people will start popping in your scope and you could start talking about your topic. So definitely introduce yourself and where you're from and tell viewers what they can expect in the scope today. And then you can start, you know, by the time you've done all that, you'll have a few people in the room. So other things to do, broadcast tips, definitely provide value. Decide on your niche ahead of time. And sorry, I've got things popping up. and provide content based on that niche. And, you know, like Len and I have learned, give away value, value, value. You know, that's how you attract people to come to your scopes and to keep coming back, is to, you know, give advice, give tips, you know, just give your viewers lots of value. Be engaging and welcoming. Ask your viewers for questions. I've seen scopers like Alex Pettit, for example. He's always asking his viewers, you know, if you're ready for the next tip, type in the word pen or something like that. He'll just find some random thing on his desk. And then, you know, it keeps his viewers engaged because they're like, oh, pen, pen, pen. Everybody's typing in pen. And hearts are like likes on Facebook. So it's really good to get hearts, and you can ask for hearts. So if you're giving good value, you know, you can ask your folks to give you hearts, and also you can ask them to share. So in order to share on iPhone, people need to swipe from left to right, and on Android, swipe up, and there is an option there for them to click on share broadcast. So they can either share it to their followers or they can share it to Twitter. And it's great to ask for those things, ask for hearts and shares, but it's really good to give some value first before you start asking those things. You know, I've seen some folks, they start asking for hearts and shares before they've even given value. And I personally don't want to share to my followers until I've heard something of value, because I want my followers to trust that I'm sharing something that they would get value out of. So, you know, I like to wait to ask for hearts and shares until I start giving value. And then if people see the value, then they can heart me and share. So don't get sidetracked in comments. Like I've seen broadcasts where folks, you know, viewers are typing in lots of questions. And if you have a list of tips to give, say about Facebook advertising, if you start getting too sidetracked answering questions, then you're not providing the value that you came there and the specific tips that you came there to provide. You could always backtrack, you know, and tell particular viewers, hey, you know, I've missed some of those questions. Why don't you can go ahead and direct message me on Twitter, and I'll you know, get back to those answers for you, or, you know, direct message me on Twitter your questions that I've missed, and I'll do another scope tomorrow, you know, answering those particular questions. So definitely be enthusiastic and have fun with your audience. Have a call to action. So this is always important to have a call to action. So a couple things you can do in your profile. I just have the link to my Facebook, my personal Facebook page. So I'll oftentimes, you know, direct people, hey, you can connect with me on Facebook. You know, my profile, my link to my Facebook is in my profile. Or if I have a specific link or a scope, you know, if I'm talking about promoting a webinar and I want to direct people to a link to sign up for a webinar, I could put that link right in my title, and I'll speak the link, you know, the link address in my broadcast, but I'll also tell them you can go back to refer to the title, the link to the webinar is in the title name. So definitely do your call to action during the course of the scope. And scopes don't need to be any certain amount of time. You know, if you have a lot of content to give and people are engaged, you know, you can go as long as you want. If you only have a couple tips to give and your audience doesn't have a lot of questions, then, you know, you can end your scope. It doesn't matter. It can be as long as or as short as you want it to be. Things not to do. So don't wait for people to join don't wait for people to join before you start your scope. You know, as I mentioned, people, you know, they'll get the notification on Twitter and they might be a few minutes late, but don't wait for a certain number of people to join into the scope before you start giving your value. Because, you know, you can say in the course of the scope, you know, if people are joining, if you're finding they're joining in the middle, you could just tell, hey, you know, thank you so much for joining. So, you know, I've already gone through about 5 of my 10 tips. for those of you who are joining late, don't forget to go back to the replay, and direct folks back to the replay to catch the first 5 tips. Or you can sum up the tips at the end of your broadcast. And as I mentioned, don't ask for hearts and shares until after you started providing value. And I've seen some folks do this, and don't hold back your next tips or additional value until you get a certain number of hearts or shares. Your viewers are there to watch you and to get value, and they don't want to be held up. You don't want to lose your followers by refusing to give the value until you get something in return. You just want to be free with your tips and with your value, and those hearts and shares will come along, as a result. But don't hold back giving your viewers that value until you get hearts and shares. That's not really fair to your viewers. So a couple ideas for scopes. You could do a product showcase. If you have a business, I met a gentleman at a meetup group recently, and he had a product for wrist support, a product that he created for wrist support. He's into, what is that called? The CrossFit. And apparently, wrist injuries are very common. So, I suggested he do a product showcase on Periscope, and show people how to use the product, show the product in action in the CrossFit gym, show how to wash the product, how to wrap it around your wrist. So, there's all sorts of things he can do as a product showcase. You can do a live tutorial. I have done a tutorial of a product that I purchased, and I was also affiliate for the particular product, and I showed folks, this is what's in the product. These are some of the information, some of the tutorials that have already been released within the product, and we're expecting more. And so I showed them what it looked like on the backside, what I was looking at, being the person who's purchased the product. So I gave them, a backdoor view of the product. You can host a Q&A, show your lifestyle. If you spend time at the beach, go ahead and show, your lifestyle. If you have a family, you can give free consults. You could do private scopes one-on-one and give consults. You could do promos and giveaways. I've done this before. For my company, I gave away samples of product. It was actually a product showcase and a promo giveaway all in one scope. So I demonstrated the product. And also the giveaway was whoever gave the most hearts during the course of this Periscope got free samples. So I ended up sending samples to Florida and to Venezuela, which was really exciting, and that ended up leading to new customers. You can also just do a value scope like I was talking about, tips to increase your engagement on Facebook, or tips to get the most out of your Facebook advertising budget. You can do a book club. This is something I've been thinking about, but I haven't started yet. So I know there's a few scopers that do book clubs on certain days of the week, and they just do a chapter a week, and folks that follow along with them have also purchased the book, and they discuss the book in the Periscope. You could also do a behind the scenes tour of your business. I know there's a gentleman on Periscope who has a chocolate business. So he's brought folks back into, the back areas of his business to show how he makes chocolate, to show what kind of marketing he does, to show the store and, what's going on in the store. So that's a great way to promote your business there. And so it's really important to grow your following, because if people aren't following you, then, there's not going to be people watching you. You want people to follow you so that your followers get those notifications when you are out doing a broadcast. So what you need to do in order to grow your following is, one, be active on Twitter. So follow other people, retweet, favorite other people's tweets, and post very valuable content. Be active in Periscope groups that are on Facebook. So I've listed a couple here that I know of. There's Perry Girls, and that's only for the gals. Sorry, guys. Scope Mob, the 5-Day Scope Challenge, and Tag Tribes. So when you're active in those groups, you get to know other people, and they're talking about what they're scoping about that day. You can talk about what you'll be scoping about that day, and it helps to increase engagement, at least from people within the Periscope groups. And then those groups have their own hashtags. So Tag Tribes, you probably, if you're active on Periscope currently, you've probably seen people put Tag Tribes in their titles. So when you use Tag Tribes in your title, then people who are part of Tag Tribes, they'll be able to easily find you. And that's a good thing. And then you'll see folks coming into your scope and they'll put, "Hi, Tag Tribes," and so that's someone from the same community. So being a part of these groups really helps to build community, and you're all supporting each other in your Periscopes, which is really nice. Again, use hashtags that are related to your topic. So if someone's when you tweet out your scope, people will be able to find, the hashtag. So even if they're watching the replay and not necessarily the live, at least, you'll be able to get your content out to them. Catch.me. So this is something fun that I started using. It's a program on the computer, www.catch.me, and this is what it looks like. So Catch.me captures all of the comments. So you can scroll up and down at all the different comments. So if you miss comments or questions from people, you can go back and find these people on Twitter and send them a message. Hey, because like I mentioned, you can ask them to direct message you their questions, but if they don't, you could always catch it on catch.me and then go back. Hey, I missed that question that you had asked. I just wanted to send you a message to follow up with you. So it's a good way. And you can also come in here and see who's here, who had made comments, and you can go back and thank them for attending your scope. So it's a good way to, be engaged with the people who were visiting your scope and commenting on your scope. So like I said, you can find those viewers in Twitter and thank them for visiting your scope. And being an active participant in other scopes is really, really important. And I've, like I said, I have been kind of on the lazy side myself lately, and I haven't been consistent in scoping. But because I've been in other people's scopes and participated, made comments, written questions, people are still following me. They see me somewhere else in someone else's scope, and they just follow me. If I've said something interesting, if I've asked an interesting question, if someone else in another person's scope, like Ray Higdon, if someone else wrote a comment and I replied back to them, hey, that's a great question, then it builds engagement between you and other people that are on Periscope. So being an active participant is huge. It really helps to increase your number of followers. Even if you haven't been scoping, even if you've been bad like me, you can still gain followers. So that was the catch.me. So a couple bonus tips. Don't worry. It takes time to build up those followers, and it takes time to really get people engaged into your scopes. So, don't worry if you don't have a lot of people in your scope. And frankly, if there's not one person that shows up live, don't worry about it. Seriously, just still deliver your content and thank the audience, because in the replay, they can't see how many people were in the live. They can't see the number on the bottom. So if there's replay viewers that are coming back in, you just deliver your value to them. They can see it. Your scope will be live for 24 hours. So You don't know how many replay viewers you're going to get. So just do your thing, deliver your content, and thank people for listening. And people can give hearts in the replay still. They can't comment, but at least they can give hearts. Again, scope at least once daily, so you always have something there in the queue, the old list that somebody can go back and watch. But you don't want to do it so much. Like I've seen people that scope 5, 6 times a day, and then you're always getting notifications that they're online. Always, always, always. So it gets a little hairy, and then you wonder, like, what kind of value are they offering if they're scoping like 10 times a day? So, then it comes to, well, can I pick and choose which scopes of theirs that I'm watching? Like, where am I going to get more value? So I think once a day is good. Twice a day is good if you have the value to offer your viewers. But if you don't have any value content to give, don't worry about it. Just once or twice a day. Don't be like me and wait a few days. Like I said, I've got to get back in the swing, and definitely make use of your content. So different ideas of things you can do. So you can write a blog. If you're into blogging, you can write a blog about, the 10 tips to make the best use of your Facebook advertising budget. Then you could do a scope and tell them 5 and direct them, put the link to your blog in your title and direct them back to your blog to get the rest of the tips. So you're driving traffic to your blog. You're giving people value, but you're still driving them to your blog. You can also do, if you don't have time to write up a blog, you can do your Periscope, give all 10 tips in your Periscope, and then shoot your Periscope to the Periscope replay to Fiverr. Get a Fiverr gig and have someone in Fiverr transcribe it, and then just take out, any replies you made to people who were commenting. If you said thank you for the hearts, you don't want to put that in your blog. So just, correct up anything that the Fiverr gig accidentally caught that are related specific to Periscope. And then just, take that and there's your blog to post up on your blog, your write-up. And you can also Periscope in your settings, you can set it up where your scope will save automatically to your gallery on your phone. So you can take that and upload it to your Facebook. You can upload it to your YouTube. So you can repurpose your scopes that way. So, oftentimes I do that. I'll go ahead and I'll put it on YouTube and I'll put it on my Facebook. So, even if it is 24 hours later and people can't view the replay right on Periscope, they can go to my Facebook or my YouTube in order to go ahead and see that video. And as I mentioned, don't set up Periscope with your phone number because then people won't be able to follow you. And I had a couple of folks here. These are some folks who are really big. Actually, I have another person to add to here. So Alex Kahn, Jason Stolkin, Alex Pettit, Robert Stern. These are some of the really big scopers on Periscope who have a lot of viewers, And as I mentioned, if you get into other people's scopes, you can communicate with other viewers that are in their scope and, get followers like I was mentioning. These folks also do what I call blast your cast, where they allow people to come into their broadcasts and talk about, write a comment and talk about what they scope about. So if you scope about home business marketing tips, you would write that in their broadcast, write that comment. And then if people who are looking for home business marketing tips, they can click on your comment and follow you right there. So Jason Stolkin, he does this every single day. So he's a good person to follow That way, when you get a notification that he's doing a Blast Your Cast, you can get in there, and that's a good way to get some followers that are really targeted, because people will only, they'll see your comment and they will follow you if that is something they're interested in learning about. So that's a good way. Those are some good folks to follow, and that's a good way to get some really targeted followers into your scope. So one thing that I'm going to stop sharing now, and hopefully the video comes back on. Can you guys see me again?
Yep.
So one thing, Len, I forgot to put into these slides was stopping your broadcast. And I know I had gotten into one of your morning broadcasts, Coffee with Len, and you're like, how do I stop this? So I apologize that I have to get back in there and put that into the instructions on that webinar information. But you swipe down on your phone and there'll be a button that says stop broadcast. So just so you know, when you're done with your scope, you just do that in order to stop your broadcast. And I think that was it. I know I did that really fast.
Okay, Chris says, Chris, you know me better than that. Just come on over and say hi yourself. Are you eating tacos today? You have a roommate here, it turns out. Chris Schuss was your roommate, apparently. All right, anyhow, that was great. Thank you. I learned a lot.
Oh, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So good to see you. What a great training you have. That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How have you been?
Good.
Oh, that's awesome.
We haven't kept in touch at all. I don't know why.
Well, we're on Facebook together, right? We're Facebook friends. Or
I don't
we
know if we are or not.
Oh, well, I'll find you. I was looking at some pictures of you not long ago, because I think I was looking at some pictures in Bert Bledsoe's Facebook page, and I was like, oh, there's Chris.
Yes, we had a good time, didn't we? It was fun in the condo.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Well, you had more fun. You went to VIP parties. Lucky dog.
That's true.
So, Whitman, you said you have a question. I'm trying to bring you across, but for some reason it's not working. I don't know what's happened, but you can type your question into the chat or into the Q&A. Let me try once again. If you can see the chat, Whitman, type your question in. Okay, there you come. Maybe you're coming across. So one question I have for you is, and I know you've got to get back to work. I'm concerned. So you just tell me what you got to do. But this is a whole lot more fun, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, luckily I haven't gotten any calls. It's kind of quiet today, so it worked out really well.
When we set up our Periscope profile, there's no place to put in the link to like our website or blog or anything like that. None of those links work, correct?
Well, you could put a link in your profile, but it's not a clickable link.
Okay.
I think that will come with time. They'll end up having clickable links. That's at least what I'm hoping for. But at least you can put it there. I put, just because I direct people to different places, like if you saw on that catch.me, I did a scope about Live the Dream, and I had a link going to the notes. Like if people wanted the notes, they could register at this link, and I put that in the title of my scope. But, so if I'm directing people towards a certain link, I'll put it in the title. But on my profile, I have the Facebook, so they can't click it, but at least they can look at it, and then they can, go into Facebook and find me. There's a lot of Heather Cameron, so it's heather.cameron.1485, so at least they can look at that and then go and find me on Facebook. But yeah, unfortunately, they're not clickable links at this point in time.
Okay.
But that'll surely change over time.
So the link in the title is not clickable either?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, Whitman Abel had a question, he said, and I tried to click him over and bring him across, and he disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute. There he is. There, boy, it took him a while to get here. All right, Whitman, where you been? I've been out there in the ether, in the internet world. He's been, maybe he's only partially here. Are you there,
I see
Whitman?
his picture. Very handsome.
Whitman, are you there? Hello? I see a picture. Well, maybe some of his molecules have made it through the ether, and some of them are still lagging behind.
Did he type in a question?
Well, I told him he could do that too. So you can type in a question. I don't know if you can even still hear me, Whitman. He may be out there. I hear something. Are you there? Strange. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what to do about that. We'll just leave it sit there and see what happens. Michael says his screen is frozen. Whitman disappeared. I don't know what to tell Michael about his frozen screen because everyone else seems to be okay.
Oh, no. Sorry, Michael.
But yeah, I did see a little screen freeze early when you and I were first talking.
Yeah.
I didn't see any, but that's the nature of this beast. Sometimes we have bandwidth problems. So, yeah, Whitman, I don't know what happened to you. I'm sorry, buddy. So I'm feeling a little bit like I need to let this young lady get back to work.
Yeah, I probably, it's quiet, but I probably should get back.
Yeah, I don't want to hold
I've been moving my screen moving my mouse every once in a while so that they think I'm still online. Okay. I'm a very bad girl. This is definitely more fun than work, right?
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's for sure. That's a great presentation you've got. I think it's really good. It's really informative.
Thank you.
And I'm still stumbling my way through. And you gave me a couple tips today that I realized that I haven't been doing a good job of. So I'll get better at this. And I'm gonna let Heather get back to what she has to do. So we're gonna kill the broadcast. Whitman, I don't know if you can still hear me or not, or where you are out there in the world. Michael, it's working now. Good, Michael. But you know what? I'll connect up with Whitman and see what his question was, and I'll get it to you.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, Chris, are you on Periscope? I gotta find you.
I'm at Chris Schaus, but I haven't done one yet.
Okay, let me. I'll go and find you and follow you, so I'm all ready for your first scope.
Have you heard about Blam yet?
Oh, the Perry Glam Party?
No, it says Blam, BLAM.IM.
Blab. Is it Blab?
Blab, yeah.
Yeah. I'm on it, but I don't really get it yet. So I haven't, because I'm on it, I'm getting notifications of people doing Blabs, but I don't really exactly know what to do on Blab, so it's nothing that I'm very active on yet. Are you active on Blab?
Take up. I haven't done one yet, but I did a video on it on my Shouts in the House Coaching YouTube channel. If you want to
cool. I'm going to have to check that out. Shouts in the House?
Shous, S-H-O-U-S.
Oh, Shouts in the House. Okay, let me write that down. Yeah, I'll look you up. That is awesome that you have a cool name that rhymes.
I know, isn't it? It worked for real estate, too.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take over your show.
Oh, that's okay. I just followed you, so I'm looking forward to seeing your scope. And let me know if you want to do a private one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Cool.
Okay. How do you do a private one?
When you, let me pull up Periscope. When you click on the camera button, there's public and private.
There is. Okay.
Choose private if it lets me choose it, and then you choose then it gives you the list of people.
Okay, got it.
Choose
that
who you
coaching.
So pretty cool. Diane Hockman is following me. I don't know how that happened.
Wow.
Pretty cool. I'm going to have to step up my game now.
So Whitman's back, and I asked him if he wanted to type in his question. He said yes. And let's see. I don't, but I don't see a question. So just sort of holding out here, waiting to see.
Okay.
If your phone rings, you're just going to go. But you know what, Whitman? I'm going to have to let this lady get back to. She's actually got a job. She's working at home, but she's got a job. I'm going to let her get back, and let me connect up with you on Facebook, and we'll find out what your question is, and we'll get you an answer.
That sounds good.
All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the broadcast. Thank you very much.
Heather.
If we could send you some hearts, we would. Really, there's a question. There it is. All right. Can you go over the scope settings? What does that mean? Can you go over the scope settings?
Oh, there's settings under your profile. So notification sound, I have that on silent because I actually never ever have my phone ring ever or bing, so I always have that just off. I don't know what it sounds like otherwise.
It sounds like
followed user goes live. So when that's on, if whoever you're following, you'll get a notification. If that's on, you'll get a notification of every person you're following that comes on live. Followed user shares broadcast. You know what? I had that off. Oh, yeah. That means when you are following someone and they share someone else's broadcast, you'll get that notification of a share when you have that on. So, like I was saying in the presentation about, sometimes people go and share a broadcast and when the person that they're watching hasn't even given any value yet. And it's not necessarily something that I want, that I'm interested in. So I actually had that turned off because I don't want to know about every single one of the people I follow sharing something because they're not necessarily sharing something that I want to hear about. And unfortunately, I got so many of those that I ended up turning it off. So I'm probably missing some things that are really valuable, but I was just getting too many notifications, so I actually turned that off. When a user follows you, you can have that turned on or off. I like to have that on because when someone follows me, I like to be able to go and look at them and see if they're somebody that I would be interested in following back. So, when Diane Hockman followed me, I got the notification that she followed me, and then I was able to follow her. Suggested first-time broadcasts. Now, I have that turned on. And I have that turned on because when you get a notification, this is a good way to get people to follow you. When you have when you get a notification of someone who's a first-time broadcaster, and the notification will say first time. If you are able to catch and get in there, you can welcome them to Periscope. Tell them great job. You're doing really great. Give them a lot of positive feedback, and then that's going to be somebody that's going to want to follow you back because you're a positive person that's giving them a lot of positive feedback. So it's actually kind of fun to get those notifications and be in someone's first scope. Preferred languages, I have mine set at English, of course. And auto-save broadcast. This is one of the things I was talking. You guys probably can't even see my phone. Auto-save broadcast. That's one thing I was talking about that I have on. When you have that on, it automatically saves your entire broadcast into your gallery. So it'll load up, really load up fast. Your phone will get loaded up super fast. So that's you know, when it auto saves to the gallery, I automatically go in my gallery when I'm done and like shoot it out to my Facebook, shoot it out to my YouTube, so it gets saved permanently in those places, and then I delete it so it's not taking up too much room on my phone. But at least if you auto save it, you know, like Periscope, it disappears after 24 hours. But if you auto save it to your gallery, then at least you could do other things with that scope and get it out into other places. That way, you know, once the 24 hours is up, you could still direct somebody towards YouTube or towards your Facebook page in order to see it after those 24 hours. So that's one thing I recommend keeping on, but you just have to watch your space on your phone because it will build up really quickly.
Right.
So that's everything that's under settings.
Okay. Cool. I hope that answered your question, Whitman. And he says great value and content.
Thank you.
If you're not seeing the chat for some reason, so.
No, I'm not. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys on Periscope. Follow me so I could follow you back and watch your scopes.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. And I love your coffee in the morning, Lynn.
Thank you.
Especially when you're outside at the Pacific. It makes me very jealous.
Me too.
Like I've said in several of my broadcasts, every now and then I make the comment that everyone who's watching my broadcast is my friend, and my friends are always all invited to come visit. So.
Well, I'll be bringing my 8-year-old and my dog, and so watch what you say.
8-year-olds and dogs are okay. Hey, we got to let you go.
Yeah, actually, I'm not going to get that. That's a telemarketer, but.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to shut us down, guys. Thank you very much, Heather. And as I understand,
thank you.
On Thursday, Larry, you're going to be on, and we're going to talk about what went on in Florida. And we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Send me the link. Is that the Florida as in Top Earner Academy?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Send me the link for that webinar. I'd like to hop on and hear what happened there. Because I purchased the live streaming, but I couldn't watch it live because I had my son. So I'm waiting for like the recordings to get out, but they haven't been released yet. So I'm still like chomping at the bit waiting for that information. I'd really love to hop on and listen.
All right, there you go, Larry. You got an audience. Actually, Larry's dropped off. He must have something else to do. Okay, well, Thursday, I'll make sure that you're registered for the webinar.
Awesome. Cool beans.
All right. Thanks.
Well, thanks guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, here we go. Going once. Going twice.